Hey folks, how's it going? Today I managed to hit the 200 badges in the exploration, so I could potentially trade for either Kiya or ShackLulu. But I was considering how much I would actually use one of these characters, not to mention if I could level them up or not. Because when I went to set up the calendar for the memory shard farming, I do eventually get a little bit of a window from October 14th until October 23rd, which I may use to bring one of them to 2 or 3 stars if I also decide to spend some memory shards, but until then, who knows what the gacha might spit out. On top of this, there's also the weapons and the fact that I don't know how long it's going to take to stack more origin gems up. I think most, if not all, of the origin gems I've been getting at this point come either from missions, the reward track, or the event that they've given us to kickstart this thing right here. When it comes to exploration, I don't think I've seen these items drop from standard explorations, and I'm starting to get half a feeling that these are going to be rewards from level 22 plus, once everything is unlocked. Not to mention, these weapons honestly look really damn good. Coco's weapon increases HP up to 15% and healing up to 15%, which should also work with the Bento proc. One debuff clear whenever she heals, also really great, and healing received for 2 turns to the target. This shouldn't really be necessary, Coco heals a ton already, but it's another buff that can cover for a dispel or a buff steal in case that happens. Initial attributes are not that high, but I get the feeling once this thing hits 3 or 4 stars, it's going to be a little bit better than her standard X. Then we have the Frostbite Grip. This is honestly insane. Another 20% HP, as well as up to 20% damage and piercing damage whenever Agatha moves, and she should be running around the map a lot. Currently, she's still using a newborn blade, but HP boost is only 10%, even though this rolled an ungodly pentacle. And it's tempting, it's really tempting to just start from the weapons. Momo's weapon, I have to admit I didn't even check out properly, because this one actually keeps the extra 1 tile for her counters. Extra magic attack, more damage taken reduction, so it is a little bit of an upgrade over her common staff. Would love to have a Momo to even consider picking this one up first. Back to Kiya and ShackLulu. These characters haven't even been added to the gacha just yet. There's no way to get random dupes to level up their talents, and if they truly are event exclusive, part of me wants to get them just to collect more units. Not to mention, we will likely need more units to be leveled up to slot them in here, because eventually we're going to need like 57 characters. But here's the thing, most of this shop is a one-time thing with limited time items. The only items that are not time limited are our badges for rank 13 skills. So I get the feeling we're going to empty this shop eventually. So even if we have to wait a little bit longer for these weapons, I think I'm going to be fine. One very nice thing about these characters coming out this late is the fact that we can actually try them out firsthand. And ShackLulu herself is actually quite a simple character. She has jump, when she attacks she inflicts stinger, at 3 marks it deals some piercing damage and 1 stack of infection before clearing it. Basic attack, just a plain 3 damage hit. Before being hit by a healthy character's melee active attack, gets 2 dodge and swaps position with the target. Return cooldown is a little bit long, but it's nice that she gets to dodge and move around. Grace of Swan is a pretty decent charge, instant charge, after which she attacks all enemies within 2 tiles twice, dealing little AoE damage. If a trait skill is triggered this turn, after attacking, Grace of Swan can be cast again without its cost. Final Curtain attacks random enemies within 3 tiles of the character, dealing damage 8 times. Each time 20% AoE damage, and can repeatedly trigger the trait effect, adding more stingers until she adds infection. That's the Final Curtain. And she gets to triple attack with the Graceful Sting. Triggered infection, so she gets to do it again. And extra turn. Again, she would be really nice to pair with someone like Momo, who increases the infection damage, or other characters that increase piercing damage, but as things stand right now, I think we have plenty of piercing damage already between Afra and Convallaria, while for DOT, it's not really something I can invest in without Momo. If you don't have Momo, it feels pointless to try and invest in a damage over time team, because otherwise you're going to have to cope with characters like Luvata, who, yeah, sure, she deals damage over time, but her damage over time only comes as a side effect, basically, of her nukes. Not to mention, DOT is often debuffed, and it's often really hard to get good damage over time against bosses and whatnot. Okay, on we go to the Hunter. Alright, the jump has height limit. Because this is 1 stack of infection, 2 stacks of per room debuff. Infection went up to 2. And there's our Gale's one. So yeah, I like the mobility, I like Ryoi's, I like the fact that she jumps around a lot. Most of what she does is just damage over time, and she doesn't even spam them properly. I'm afraid this is going to be a pretty heavy mark against her. So yeah, main reason why I would want to pick ShackLulu up would be just for collection purposes. So I have half a feeling that she's going to be the second character I pick. But before making that decision into a permanent one, let's go check little Kiya out as well. Now, 187 speed isn't actually all that low. She can still outspeed Tyr if she's buffed with speed 2, but I don't know how often we'll be using her in Clash. Her trait gives her toughness, increases HP by 20%, if the target is defeated she self-heals and reduces cooldown of all skills by 1 turn. When injured or dying, damage dealt and piercing damage increase by 20%. For casting or performing basic attack, inflicts 2 stacks of infection, so she already inflicts more infection than ShackLulu. After an active single target physical attack, sacrifices HP to deal extra piercing damage. And again, we have buffs to increase this piercing damage, 30% of her attack plus 50% of the HP lost this turn to the target, up to 4 times per round. Basic self-heals. When injured, reduce damage taken by 35%. After being attacked, inflicts Scar of Resentment on the attacker. She marks her attacker so that she launches a single target physical attack. The sacrifice and damage effect will be triggered up to 1 extra time. When she attacks, 10% of her lost HP is added to attack, up to 30%. So looks like on top of everything, on top of the plain damage, on top of the DOT, she should have some decent personal damage as well. Choice skill, Yearning or Resentment. Instant skill, selects one ally and inflicts infused Yearning. After a single target attack by Kiya, the ally carrying this effect heals the 2 by 20%. After casting this skill, both recover 30% HP, then dispel 2 debuff and gain damage reduction 2, lasting for 2 turns. The character also gains Unyielding. Okay, she can prevent death for 1 character. Honestly, nice. Real nice. Alternatively, selects an enemy and inflicts Scar of Resentment. After Kiya launches an active single target physical attack, up to 1 additional trait effect or sacrifice or damage is triggered. Attacking increases attack by 10%, of the HP lost up to 30. After casting this skill, sacrifices 30% of the character HP and gains Unyielding. That is just for herself, and this is basically the same as the Scar of Resentment she triggers when she gets attacked. Soul Cunning Soup, another instant skill, selects an enemy, recovers 20% of the target's magic attack as HP, and inflicts 3 stacks of infection plus healing received reversal. If we get into some more convoluted stages in hard mode, if the enemies can still be debuffed with this and they end up healing up 6, 7, 9,000 health per turn, this one might be really damn good. Like, utility wise, she's already blowing ShackLulu out of the water, attack down 2 and sleep for 2 turns. But wait, sleep cannot be for 2 turns. That's a bit too strong. Or at least it wasn't too strong when she should have been originally released, because sleep can be interrupted. But now we have a little deer that makes it so sleep cannot be interrupted. Could this be yet another strong shutdown skill? Oh god, I need to try this. If this stacks, if this works with Afra, that's going to be pretty damn interesting. Lastly, Crimson Covenant. Sacrifices 30% of the correct HP to recover 1 energy, reset the countdown on the trait, and temporarily leaves battle. Inflicts Scar of Resentment and Pact of the Bloody Knight on the target for 1 turn. After Pact of the Bloody Knight ends, physical damage 35% of her own HP and physical attack, 100% of defense, and gains 80% lifesteal, triggering infections as well, ignoring preempt and dodge. Resentment is always the same thing that triggers trait 1 extra time, decreases speed by 150, damage dealt by 20, end of the turn, or after being defeated, Kiya returns to battle. Not to mention, she's another Night Crimson character, and I think I would like to pull for her even just for that. So, resentment on you, sleep on you, and we go hide in here. Oh, before we hide, sleep is actually 2 turns. Oh, I think she's going to pair so well with Afra, it's actually going to be insane. Not to mention 5 stacks of infection for free. Yeah, I'm afraid this is a bit less of a choice than originally intended. Okay, little pro took damage, and that's the chest burst. Nah, dude, absolutely. That animation is way too damn cool. No, everything has a 2-turn cooldown, or at least the other skills have a 2-turn cooldown. But I guess we can also just do this. Another point in Kiya's favor is the fact that she comes in as another destroyer unit. I don't really have that many, and I've got to admit this has made farming some of the Odyssey stages a little bit harder than they had any right to be. While the Seeker units, even though I'm not exactly drowning in them, they are all so much stronger compared to my destroyers. So I guess the choice isn't really a choice at all. It has to be Kiya. Alright, now let's see if we've missed something. I don't think she's gonna make it to 13. 13,000, absolutely not. Ah well, she makes it to rank 11 at least. Shadowgate for more mobility, paralyzing touch, more infection, and another sleep. Yearning or Resentment, likely going with this one. Maid's Instinct increases HP by 15% at the start of the turn or after performing Standby, clears all special tile effects within 2 tiles around the character. Standby additionally recovers 1 energy. Maid Instinct would actually not be all that bad. 2 tiles, this helps clear traps when running around maps, but it's way too niche a skill. I don't think it's even worth a Castalia. We go with the Yearning instead. Hatred. We're not thinking twice about this one. Soul Calming Super Cream. Oh, they're on the same level, that's too bad. Yeah, I think she burns a Castalia here, because I do want both. She's not dealing crit damage, we go with Lifesteal. Instant, single target, 40% damage before attacking. If basic attack is possible, blocks passives on the target for 1 turn. Can only be used up to 3 times per battle. I mean, it's alright that it's an instant skill, but 40% damage isn't actually that high, and I kind of hate the 3 uses. The alternative is a 75% AoE damage to all enemies within 3 tiles and 2 random level 2 debuffs. Basically a watered down version of what Revia actually has. Not to mention 3 mana cost, 2 turn cooldown. Yeah, not a fan. If I wanted to pick something up, I wanted to pick something that can inflict more infection or more sleep. Whatever we pick is going to be fine. The actual important skill is down here, Crimson Covenant. The Newborn Blade is going to work just fine, even though I think a Senator Swift sword wouldn't be all that bad either. Try and get as much health out of this as possible. Speaking of health, this should probably be another Crystal Burst armor, but I don't have that many copies, so I might want to go with a simple Spring Peel for a little bit more healing should she need it. And lastly, this should honestly be another Fool's Naivety, 20% extra HP. Magic attack, physical defense, would have loved to have another one with another 10% HP, but I just haven't been getting lucky with these. I get the feeling that something supporty might not actually be that bad, like go with the Engraving Resonance. It only triggers once every 4 turns, but if you get lucky, you get the Resonance on turn 2, you can use Crimson Covenant on turn 2, and it actually gets its cooldown reduced, so you can use Crimson Covenant again on turn 3. AoE sleep, last. Oh, unfortunate. HP in battle, 8,000. Well, considering that she's missing the 20% from her trait, she's missing more HP from her weapon, she's missing 10% HP from the Fool's Naivety, 8,000 starter isn't actually all that bad. And we go hiding. $5k. Now we just have to not one-shot them with Afra. That's one, and everyone's asleep. Okay, once more onto the breach. Fingers crossed, both of these are going to sleep nice and easy. Maybe not the big one. Yeah, first one is sleep, second one isn't, but it has Nightmare. Oh, this is Nightmare, this is not the stacks of Infection. So he's not going to fall asleep now? Yeah, that causes Infection but doesn't put him to sleep. 3 nice stacks though. Plus Scar of Resentment. And she doesn't have the 1 energy she needs to cast the other thing. So she might need an Infection support that's a little bit faster than her. And boop. Right, no, you know what it is? I think she might need to be a few star level higher to do what I'm thinking she should be able to do. 2 stars, increase HP by 10%, that's alright. 3 stars, 10%, reduces skill cooldown at 3 stars already. 4 stars, before casting skills or basic attack, inflicts 1 stack of Infection. So if you want her to be able to put enemies to sleep with her teacup, she has to be 4 stars, and considering that she cannot be farmed for, she's basically never going to reach this point. Let's be honest here, she's never going to reach this point. There's always going to be more important destroyers for which to use Immortal Recollection for, and there's always going to be more important memory shard farming slots for other units. Otherwise, you're going to need to bring someone who can still inflict Infection, but who moves at above 187 speed. Who is even there? Convallaria doesn't inflict Infection unless he comes in with the other basic attack. Coco, I guess, inflicts Infection with her skill, Treasure Chest, but Coco also already puts enemies to sleep. Afra, Coco, Kiya, and you have basically so much sleep spam that it's not even going to be funny. You're actually going to start feeling bad for the enemies. Nonowil has Infection, but she's down to 159 speed. Iggy has Infection at 187. In other games, when characters have the same speed, it's usually because there's decimal points that still count towards that speed. So does Iggy move first because he's a breaker? Or does Kiya move first because she's supposed to be a destroyer debuffer? Okay, she moves first. For some reason. Again, 187 speed to 187 speed. So I guess it's the class that comes into play. Honestly, a little bit bummed out that she doesn't get to spam as much infection as I was expecting her to. This thing locked behind the 4 stars really, really sucks. Still, fairly happy to have finally gotten her. We've been waiting for these two characters to be released for so damn long. Alright then, I guess that's going to be it for me for the moment. As always, thanks a lot for watching, leave a like, comment, subscribe for more solo Convallaria content, and see you guys around soon. Ciao!